In 1986, a young girl named Adelaide Thomas went on vacation with her parents to Santa Cruz, California, to celebrate her birthday. They seemed to enjoy the atmosphere. They visited the Santa Cruz Beach boardwalk. While Adelaide's parents are busy with their business, she escapes and wanders into a playground called Find Yourself. It was raining and she came inside to stay away from the wet. Then suddenly the power cut off made her so scared until she met her own twin in the mirror house from. Now that Adelaide is an adult and getting married, she continues to be haunted by memories of that meeting and her childhood experience. One day she goes on vacation with her husband, Gabe Wilson, and their children, Zora and Jason. At first, Adelaide refuses to go on vacation because she is worried, but Gabe reassures her, because they will meet their rich friends Josh Tyler and Kitty Tyler. Meanwhile, a flashback of Adelaide is shown, where when she was a child and experienced some kind of memory loss and acted strangely after coming home from the playground back then, she was not the Adelaide that her parents used to know anymore. In the meantime, Adelaide is looking for Jason. She asks her sister Zora, but she doesn't know it. Then Adelaide went to the basement to look for him, but nothing. She instead found a doll, her toy when she was little, and surely it reminds her of a childhood story in the past. It turns out that Jason was in the closet hiding. The D-Day had come, and they were all leaving for a vacation. When they were arriving at the location, Jason's family met Tyler's family. They shared stories of nothing but showing off wealth. While on the beach, Jason went to the toilet and saw a man standing like a statue with his hands covered in blood, making him scared to death. Meanwhile, Adelaide was in panic because she couldn't find Jason. Then Jason came and said to her that he had just come from the toilet. When the night falls, Adelaide behaves strangely. She asks Gabe to leave because she is uncomfortable with the circumstances. She wants to go home. She feels like someone is watching her and makes her become someone else, but Gabe reassures her and calms her down, saying that everything is fine. Adelaide tells about her bad childhood experience when she met her clone in an amusement park. It made her feel haunted by her clone until now. Suddenly the power went out. There was a group of humans. There were 4 people wearing red suits in the driveway to the Wilsons' cottage. They broke into the house and attacked them. The intruders turned out to be doppelgangers, or twins who really looked like Adelaide and the rest of the family. They are Jason's twin named Pluto, who behaves like a stray dog, Zora's sadistic twin Umbri, Gabe's twin Abraham, who can only groan uncontrollably, and last but not least is Red, Adelaide's twin, the only person who can speak even in a hoarse voice and also the leader. Red explains that doppelgangers are also called tethered. They share the same soul and body in different places, and they have come to break free from that bondage. Red tells the story of a little girl who is loved and lives happily, while her shadow or twin lingers in darkness and suffering. Gabe is trying to convince them that there was nothing to be taken. He also offers all the money he has, but the tethered refuses. They don't even know and also understand what Gabe was talking about. The family is separated by their respective doppelgangers. Red makes Adelaide handcuff her hands to the table. Red threatens them to follow the order or she would kill one of them. Adelaide follows what she says, but she demands that they let the children off and away from them. Zora and Gabe are chased by their twins Umbri and Abraham respectively, while Jason is set to play with Pluto. Zora tried to avoid Umbri. She was running away, but this twin kept following her. Gabe, in the meantime, he got beaten by Abraham, but with all his might, he finally managed to kill Abraham. Somehow Abraham was still alive. He was so strong. Abraham took his boat and kept Gabe in a plastic bag. Then they fought again in the sea. Adelaide asks Red what she wants, then Red says that she's been waiting for so long to be untethered. Jason realized that Pluto always imitated his behavior. He took this advantage off by locking him in a cupboard. Red is angry when she hears Pluto's cry. Adelaide uses this opportunity to break free. Back to Gabe, he swam at the surface, then suddenly the boat was pointing at him and he immediately got on it. It turns out that Abraham is still alive and he's trying to kill Gabe, but Gabe managed to kill him first. Adelaide finally managed to escape with Jason. They regrouped, then escaped by boat. Meanwhile, Tyler's family, Gabe's friend, was killed by their twin too. They rudely took their lives one by one, starting from Tyler, his wife and their 2 daughters. Adelaide comes to Tyler's house. She doesn't realize that the tethered has killed Tyler and his family. When Josh comes out, Adelaide feels strange with his behavior. He just realizes that the cloned human also happened to Tyler's family. They caught Adelaide. Zora and Jason managed to enter Tyler's house through the back door and they found their 2 daughters who they thought were dead. Then they go up to the 2nd floor and suddenly the clones of Josh's daughters attack her. Lucky Zora can avoid a counter-attack which makes the clone fall down and kills her. Meanwhile, Adelaide is handcuffed by Josh's clone wife. Gabe is still being chased by Josh's clone and they head for the dock. Gabe hides in the boat while Josh's clone is looking for him. Gabe tries to take down Josh's clone. A fierce fight ensues. Zora enters the room where his mother is handcuffed. She tries to knock out Josh's wife clone, but it doesn't work. She instead counterattacks Zora. Suddenly Jason appeared and directly hit on the head of Josh's clone wife with the bronze ornament and killed her. Feeling things under control, Adelaide and her family take a short break at Josh's house. They turn on the TV to watch the news. It is discovered that another tethered has killed his twin across the states. They're trying to escape. Adelaide has an idea that they are going to Mexico, but Gabe ensures it's better to stay at Tyler's house because there's a lot of supplies. Adelaide insisted on leaving, but when she wanted to take the car key, suddenly one of Tyler's daughters was still alive and attacked her. Finally, Adelaide managed to kill that clone. When they were all in the car, Zora took the wheel and tried to drive the clone family away by crashing it. Umbrey stood in front of them, then she managed to dodge and climbed onto the roof of the car and attacked them. Zora stepped on the gas, which threw Umbrey into a tree and killed her. Meanwhile, on the Santa Cruz sidewalk, the Wilson family found that the road in the area was blocked by their own car, which had been set on fire by Jason's twin. Pluto has set a trap for the Wilson family. He is standing in the middle of the road with a splatter of gasoline right at the Wilson family's car, complete with lighter in hand. Jason remembered that Pluto was always imitating him. He used it to direct Pluto to walk backwards towards the flames behind him and burn him down. Wilson's family doesn't realize that Red is still alive and manages to kidnap Jason. While on the beach, Adelaide sees the tethered holding hands and forming a long line. She goes back into the fun house ride and finds a secret tunnel that leads to a large underground room where there are so many rabbits, and she finds Red right there. On the surface, Gabe and Zora manage to save themselves. They hid in the ambulance. Back to the basement, Red explains that Tethered is a clone that was deliberately created by the government to control their clones on the surface of normal living. When the experiment failed, Tethered was left behind in the basement for several generations. Without thinking that the Tethered will imitate their behavior on the surface, Red arranges for them to run away and take revenge. Red and Adelaide engage in a fight. With very agile, Red avoids attacks from Adelaide and counters all attacks. When Red is about to stab Adelaide in the back, Adelaide stabs her first with a fire stick, then sadistically strangles and breaks his neck to death. She went mad, so that's where Adelaide's true nature is revealed. After that, she saved Jason, who was hiding in the locker. Adelaide and her family survived by riding in an ambulance, reminiscing about her childhood, where she met the real Adelaide for the first time in the Mirror House ride, when she strangled her unconscious, then tied her to a bed in a basement and secretly took her place in the outside world. This means that the real Adelaide is Red, who already dead, and Red is the current Adelaide. Adelaide daydreams remembering the incident. Jason looked at her suspiciously. Meanwhile, across the hill, the doppelgangers hand in hands to form a very long and numerous human chain.